Hi, PreCalculus. Here is test 3A review. For number 1, it says find the exact values of the 6 trigonometric functions of theta. So we've got sine theta, cosine theta, tangent theta, and then we got cosecant theta, secant theta, cotangent theta. All right, for sine theta, this is our theta here, and it's the opposite over adjacent. So for sine theta, it's 9 over 11. Cosecant theta is the reciprocal, so that's 11 over 9. For cosine theta, we've got to figure out what is the adjacent side. So we know 9 squared plus whatever this guy is, let's call it x for a minute. X squared is equal to 11 squared. 9 squared is 81, plus x squared is equal to 121, which means x squared is equal to 40, and so x is equal to the square root of 40. I can bring out a group of 2's, and x is 2 square root of 10. That's that side. So cosine theta is 2 square root of 10 over 11. Secant theta is the reciprocal of that, so 11 over 2 square root of 10. I can't keep that radical in the denominator, so I'm going to rationalize by the denominator. 2 can stay down there, but the square root of 10 is going to move up. So 11 square root of 10. On the bottom, we got square root of 10 times square root of 10. That's 10 times the 2, and that's 20. All right, for tangent theta, that is my opposite over adjacent. So opposite is 9 divided by 2 square root of 10. Again, when I rationalize the denominator, it's 9 square root of 10 over 2 times 10, which is 20. Finding the reciprocal, I'm going to flip this fraction. That's 2 square root of 10 over 9. All right, number 2, find the value of x, round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So for this one, here's my angle. We know the adjacent, we're looking for the adjacent. We know the hypotenuse. My function that uses the hypotenuse and the adjacent is cosine. Cosine theta, so cosine 56 degrees, is equal to my adjacent, which is x, over my hypotenuse, which is 63.1, which means x is 63.1 times cosine 56 degrees, and x is equal to 35.3. All right, number 3, on a college campus, we have got the library that's 80 yards east of the dormitory. So from the dormitory, we go 80 yards to the east, and that's my library. And if we go due north of the library, so if we go straight up from the library, we get the rec center. And we've got a sidewalk that's here. They're building a new sidewalk between the dorm and the rec center. They said the angle between these two guys is 56 degrees. They want to know how long is that. So again, if this is my angle, I've got the adjacent and the hypotenuse. So ironically, it is the same cosine. Cosine 56 degrees. This time it's adjacent is 80 over hypotenuse is what we're looking for. So x is 80 divided by cosine 56. And that should be approximately 143 yards. It says round to the nearest yard, so 143, and don't forget, well, it's multiple choice tomorrow, so you don't have to worry about your unit measures. All right, number 4, it says if cotangent A is equal to 8, find the exact values of the remaining trigonometric functions. So we've got sine A, cosine A, tangent A, and then I've got cosecant A, secant A, and cotangent A. All right, and we know that cotangent A is 8, which means the reciprocal tangent would be 1 over 8. And from those two pieces of information, we can set up our angle. So for angle A, tangent is opposite over adjacent, or 1 over 8. To find our hypotenuse, we'll use the Pythagorean theorem. So 1 squared plus 8 squared is equal to r squared. 1 squared plus 8 squared, that would be 1 plus 64. R squared is equal to 65. R then would be square root of 65. So my hypotenuse here is square root of 65. And now we can find the other four trig functions. So sine A is opposite. Here's A. So opposite over adjacent. 1 over, sorry, not adjacent, opposite over hypotenuse. 1 over the square root of 65. Rationalizing that, you get the square root of 65 over 65. To find the reciprocal of this guy, just flip them. This would be the square root of 65 over 1, or just the square root of 65. Cosine A, now we've got adjacent over hypotenuse, 8 over square root of 65. Rationalizing that denominator, you get 8 square root of 65 over 65. Flipping this guy, you get the square root of 65 over 8. All right, number 5, find the measure of angle theta, round to the nearest degree if necessary. So here's my angle theta. I know, let's see, it looks like the opposite and the hypotenuse. So opposite over hypotenuse would be sine. So we know sine theta is 2 over 3. When you're trying to find the angle measure, that's when you're using that sine inverse. So sine inverse of 2 over 3 would be theta. Plugging that into your calculator. I got one of these wrong this morning, and I can't remember which one it is. So let me re-plug this one into the calculator. So sine inverse of 2 divided by 3, I'm getting 41.8 degrees. Oh, I remember what was wrong with this. It says round to the nearest degree, so 42 degrees. So again, on your test tomorrow, it's all multiple choice, so you should be able to figure that out. You'll be able to make my mistake. All right, number 6, solve this triangle. Round side measures to the nearest tenth and angle measures to the nearest degree. So when we're solving the triangle, that's where we're trying to find big A, big C, B, big C, little a, little b, little c. So remember the big ones, those are your angle measures. So A is 22 degrees. B, we don't know just yet. C is my 90-degree triangle. So 180 degrees is how many degrees are in a triangle? Minus 90 degrees would be 90. 90 minus the 22, that is angle A, gives us 68 degrees for angle B. My little a, little b, little c are opposite. So we don't know little a. We don't know little b, but we do know little c is 14. All right, so I know an angle measure and a hypotenuse. If I want to find little a, that's opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of 22 degrees is going to be little a over 14, or a is going to be 14 sine 22 degrees. And I get a is approximately 5.2. And if I'm trying to find little b, that's going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. So cosine 22 degrees is little b over 14. Again, b is 14 cosine 22 degrees. Ooh, bit too crazy there. So little b is approximately 13.0. All right, I got about 57 seconds. Let's see if we can't get number 7. So number 7 says the swimming pool at Paris Hill Plunge is 50 feet long and 25 feet wide. If the bottom of the pool is slanted so that the water depth is 3 feet at the shallow end and 15 feet at the deep end, what is the angle of elevation at the bottom of the pool? So here we go. I've got a pool. This is going to be my water level. We know the height at the shallow end is 3 feet deep. And the height of the water at the deep end, let's call it down here, is 15 feet deep. And so the pool has this absolutely perfect slant to it for the bottom. And they want to know what is the angle of elevation of the pool at the bottom. So we're trying to find this theta here. All right, They gave us two pieces of information, 50 by 25. So when I started drawing, I said, okay, well, this is 50 by 25. We really don't care about this 25 piece. This is taking like an overhead view look at the pool. This is taking like a cross view, like underwater view of the pool. And so we don't care about the 25. What we care about is it's 50 feet long. If you think about it, the 25 would be the distance out coming away from the board. I can't really do that on a video, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. This part here is only for like a three-dimensional piece, which we really don't care about. We want the 50 feet here, and then how can we find the height of our triangle here? Well, we know the depth of the water at this end is 3 feet, and at this end is 15 feet, so the difference between those two is 12. In other words, my height here is 15. This total height is 15. 3 feet here, the difference between 15 and 3 is 12. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, we're trying to find theta. I've got opposite and adjacent, that would be tangent. So tan theta is equal to 12 over 50. When we're trying to find that angle, that's where we're going to use the tan inverse. So tan inverse is 12 over 50. I did this wrong on my key, so let me put this one into a calculator. Tan inverse is 12 divided by 50. So angle would be roughly 13.5 degrees. And that is it for this video. Come back if you have questions for the remainder of the review. Good luck studying, guys.